Imagine checking into a historic hotel, stepping into an elevator, and suddenly feeling like you are entirely not alone. You press the floor buttons, but the doors refuse to close. You step out, look down an empty hallway, hop back inside, and frantically hide in the corner, gesturing to an invisible presence standing just outside, completely unaware that this will be the last time the world ever sees you alive. This isn't a scene from a Hollywood psychological thriller. It actually happened. In February 2013, a 21-year-old college student named Elisa Lam vanished inside one of the most infamous, blood-soaked buildings in the United States, the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. When the lab released her final security footage to the public, it triggered a global obsession. Millions of internet sleuths tried to decode her movements. Was she running from a stalker? Was she experiencing a severe mental health crisis? Or did the dark, supernatural history of the hotel finally claim another victim? Today we are taking a deep, chilling dive into the haunting mystery of Elisa Lam. The disturbing history of the Cecil Hotel, and the terrifying questions that still remain unanswered. To truly understand what happened to Elisa Lam, you have to look at the cursed foundation upon which she stayed. Opened in 1924, the Cecil Hotel was originally built as a luxury destination for wealthy businessmen and tourists visiting downtown Los Angeles. The owners poured millions of dollars into its grand marble lobby and stained glass windows. But just 5 years later, the Great Depression hit America. The hotel's grand vision collapsed overnight. Situated right on the border of Skid Row, an area riddled with poverty, crime and desperation, the Cecil began lowering its standards just to keep its doors open. It split its massive structure. A portion remained a traditional hotel, while the upper floors were converted into cheap, long-term residential rooms. And that is when the darkness truly settled in. Over the decades, the Cecil transformed into a magnet for tragedy, suicide and violence. It earned a notorious local nickname, the Suicide Hotel. Dozens of guests jumped from its upper floor windows over the years. But suicides were only the beginning. By the 1980s and 1990s, the hotel became a safe haven for actual monsters. Infamous serial killer Richard Ramirez, known to the world as the Night Stalker, lived on the top floor of the Cecil during the height of his murder spree. He would commit horrific crimes across California, return to the hotel, throw his blood-stained clothes into the exterior dumpsters, and walk right back into his room without a single person questioning him. Years later, Austrian serial killer Jack Unterweger also checked into the Cecil, actively hunting victims in the surrounding area as if paying direct homage to Ramirez. By 2013, the Cecil Hotel was a decaying, budget-friendly labyrinth riddled with crime, drug addicts, and a heavy, suffocating atmosphere. And into this exact building walked Elisa Lam. Elisa Lam was a 21-year-old student from Vancouver, Canada. She was described by her friends and family as bright, creative, book-loving, and deeply kind. She decided to take a solo trip across California, a journey she called her West Coast Tour. On January 26, 2013, Elisa checked into the Cecil Hotel, booking a shared room on the 5th floor. However, just a couple of days into her stay, her roommates complained about her odd behavior, prompting the hotel staff to move her into a private room. Throughout her trip, Elisa had maintained a strict daily routine. She called her parents back in Vancouver every single night to let them know she was safe. But on January 31st, that daily phone call never came. Panic set in. Her parents immediately flew to Los Angeles and contacted the lab. Police arrived at the Cecil Hotel and initiated a massive search. They brought in K9 units to sweep the towering 19-floor structure from top to bottom. They searched every single room, every hallway, and every public space. They found nothing. Elisa's cell phone, ID, and wallet were all missing, but her hotel room showed zero signs of a struggle. She had simply vanished into thin air. It wasn't until weeks later, on February 14th, that the desperate police department decided to release a piece of security footage to the public, hoping someone might recognize her. The video showed Elisa inside one of the hotel elevators, and what was captured on that tape sent immediate shockwaves around the world. In the footage, Elisa steps into the elevator car and presses almost every single floor button. But pay close attention. The elevator doors remain completely open. They do not close. Elisa steps out, checks both sides of the hallway, hops back inside, and frantically cowers in the corner, pressing her back against the wall as if hiding from someone standing right outside the frame. She steps out again, waves her arms in erratic geometric patterns, talks to thin air, and steps back inside. Finally, she walks out of the frame entirely. Seconds later, the elevator doors miraculously shut, and the car begins operating normally again, moving up and down the floors as if nothing ever happened. The internet instantly exploded into a frenzy of conspiracy theories. Was she running from a human stalker hiding in the hotel? Was she experiencing a terrifying psychological break? Or was something paranormal tampering with the elevator's mechanics? As February moved forward, the mystery took an even darker, more sickening turn. Guests staying on the lower and middle floors of the Cecil Hotel began making severe disturbing complaints to the front desk. They reported that the tap water was acting strangely. It had a strange brownish-black discoloration. Even worse, guests claimed the water tasted metallic, sweet, and foul. Some families stated that when they turned on the shower, the water pressure dropped to a pathetic trickle, and the liquid pouring from the nozzle looked like mud. For nearly 2 weeks, hotel guests brushed their teeth, washed their faces, and drank from those exact taps, completely unaware of what was sitting right above their heads. On February 19th, tired of the constant complaints, a maintenance worker was finally sent up to check the massive water storage system. He climbed the exterior metal ladder to the flat rooftop of the Cecil Hotel. The roof of the hotel was a maze of industrial pipes and 4 large cylindrical metal water tanks, each standing nearly 10 feet tall, supplying water to the entire building. To get to this roof, an individual had to pass through heavy doors fitted with security alarms that would trigger an immediate alert at the front desk if opened without authorization. Furthermore, there were no fixed ladders leading to the top of the tanks. The maintenance worker walked across the gravel roof and approached the second water tank. He peered over the edge and looked down through the open hatchway. What he saw inside froze the blood in his veins. Floating lifelessly in the dark, stagnant water of the tank was the body of Elisa Lam. The discovery on the roof sent immediate panic through Los Angeles, but the physical reality of the crime scene created a puzzle that baffled both veteran homicide detectives and forensic experts. How did Elisa get up there? If she climbed onto the roof, how did she bypass the alarmed security doors without tripping the front desk alert? More importantly, how did a 5'4" college student climb up a sheer 10-foot tall metal water tank with no ladder, open the heavy weighted lid from the outside, drop inside, and somehow close the heavy lid back down from the inside? When the Los Angeles County coroner released the official autopsy and toxicology reports, the findings added even more confusion. Toxicology screens revealed no alcohol, illicit drugs, or poisons in her system. However, Medical records showed she had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, and had been prescribed multiple medications to manage her mental health. The official ruling by the coroner was listed as accidental drowning, with her bipolar disorder noted as a significant contributing factor during a possible manic episode. Yet, the public refused to accept this simple conclusion. Critics and independent investigators pointed out massive inconsistencies. For instance, when firefighters first arrived to extract her body, they initially testified that the heavy hatch lid of the water tank was closed, but later statements from other first responders claimed the lid was actually open when they arrived to drain the tank. If the lid was closed, how could she have locked herself inside? The physics, the security failures, the eerie elevator footage, and the haunting history of the Cecil Hotel combined to create a modern-day urban legend that defied logical explanation. To this day, over a decade later, the death of Elisa Lam remains one of the most haunting, deeply unsettling mysteries of the modern internet era. Whether it was a tragic, heartbreaking mental health crisis, an accidental drowning during a severe episode, or something far darker and more sinister hidden within the structural decay of the Cecil Hotel, one thing remains painfully clear. Some places hold on to their dark histories long after the guests are gone, and some secrets are never meant to be brought to the surface. What do you think really happened inside the Cecil Hotel that freezing night in February 2013? Do you believe it was an accident, or is there something much more terrifying lurking in the background of that elevator footage? Let us know your thoughts and theories in the comments section below. If you want to keep uncovering the world's most chilling true crime cases and dark historical mysteries with us, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe out there in the dark, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.